Derrick Henry sitting on the bench turned out to be something of a controversy and a pretty hot topic on our show yesterday. These guys were here for that, where he's not on the field. Henry is not on the field for the two-point conversion attempt at the end. He had 13 touches in the game, 0 in the fourth quarter. Some of us believe that that was a major problem for the Ravens, and others are dismissive of that notion. Yep. Where do you sit on it, Hawk?
I think it's the circumstances and situation of the game.
Yes,
I would be more alarmed if I felt like they went in with a strategy to not run the football. And I think that was some of the issue last year in the AFC Championship game. We know how great Derrick Henry is. I'm not going to fault them for in the moment where they needed a play, they said, hey, we're going to Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is still Lamar Jackson. And I understand, like, Derrick Henry as a player and as a threat makes them a better football team. But the way the game flowed, it just, the circumstances didn't call for it.
Okay, hold on a second. This is where I got to stop.
Here we go.
I got to stop.
Here we go.
All right.
Tell me how the game flowed that would allow you to kick 6 field goals and get beat, that would not allow the most physical player in football to be on the field. Both of you help me, because you think that the Ravens should be more finesse against a tight game where their field goal kicker can't kick it and they're getting beat up physically?
I think what happens here is we take a big picture view of this and you don't take into account the context of the situation. Derrick Henry on the field for the 2-point conversion, I don't think you can.
Let me tell you something as somebody who was at that game and watched it. Derrick Henry not being on the field for that particular play is not the reason they lost the game. Where you have a team, the problem with the Ravens are the penalties. You know what the problem with the Ravens are? Just the Ravens. It's not, if the Ravens play like they should, no team can actually stop them because of this offense. But it's the penalties, it is the self-inflicted wounds, it is Zay Flowers' drop, it is a Derrick Henry fumble. It is like all of these things. Justin Tucker, what happened? Where are you?
Yeah.
There are other issues but beyond just Derrick Henry's usage. And back in September, John Harbaugh was asked about Derrick Henry, and he said he wasn't brought in here to carry the ball 30 times. So, I understand just frustration.
Here's my issue with all of this, is that we consider the Baltimore Ravens to be one of the most physical teams in the NFL. I said they were going to take a step back this year because the defensive coordinator left, and they had new offensive linemen.
Right.
How do you help offensive linemen is by fatiguing the defensive line. If you don't rush the football, and especially with a hammerback like Derrick Henry, you are playing into the hands of the Pittsburgh Steelers, who want to make the game ugly. I get what you guys are saying. And I'm not saying that the answer to every question is run Derrick Henry.
Yes, it is.
But the facts of the matter are, you're going to get beat because the teams, even the Kansas City Chiefs proved this in the AFC Championship game. The teams that are most physical win games, y'all, and they are not physical enough if Derrick Henry doesn't get the touches. That's just the facts of what they are.
Nick, that number at the bottom of the screen doesn't resonate with you at all. And there's 7 wins. He's had 20 rushes a game, and in their 4 losses.
Come on, Greedy. We don't have to do dumb talk. Like, of course you're going to have more carries in the game when you're winning.
Up, when you're down, you got to throw it.
But look at this game. Look at this game. Both these games, when they're down in Cincinnati and they still hand it to Derrick Henry in overtime and he busts, it is the unintended explosive play that Derrick Henry gives you that most can't.
And they're winning in all their losses, too. Every game they lose, they're leading it. It's not like they're way behind.
You bring up a point about the defense, though. Like, it's not just...
The thing that's stressful about this particular conversation is it feels like we're acting like, and we're accepting that Lamar said that the Ravens are the only team that can beat them. I watched this game. The Steelers beat them.
Yeah.
The Steelers played well. They got a lot of penalties because they were beating them, so they had to hold. They created turnovers.
I agree with that.
You know what? What you don't want to do against that big physical Steelers defense is run the ball at Cam Hayward. Like, the team is good that they had to play against.
We're going to come back to this.
20 points.
Trayvon Diggs.
That's 20 points.
Yeah, that's a lot of points.
I mean, we locked down at 20 and in a couple quarters.
Before the fourth quarter.
We locked them down at 20? That's our
crazy.
What's the number?
That. How was the play, Mrs. Lincoln?
Diggs didn't co-sign either. Diggs kept frozen face.
I'll say this, that I recognize something in there that, like, cornerbacks and specifically have to have, is that delusional confidence. Because if you can go into work on Wednesday morning thinking we stink, That's real hard. So, like, if I give up a touchdown, it's real hard to then go back out on the field and be like, I'm not going to do it again, unless you delude yourself into believing that.
No.
So, like, it's a strategy.
Yep.
Saying it into the microphone
Yeah, you can't
is
say
a
it.
bad idea.
No,
but you have to,
You can't
like,
say
why
it
would you
right.
go to work if you're
Yeah.
like, man, we stink. This sucks.
So in 2016, that's how I knew my career was coming to an end. It was the first time in my life I would go into games in the pregame, be warming up, look across the field and say, there's no way we're going to win today. The moment that happened, I'm like, oh, it's done. I'm out of here. I'm too logical at this point. So I agree that delusion is necessary, but it also should not be said into a microphone because we can hear you.
gonna
make-
Those are
we gonna
inner
laugh.
thoughts. Don't get them to us.
Here's a problem. Someone needs to cut Micah's mic. And I'm being dead serious. Because yes, it's not just DBs, it's not just defensive players. Every football player, to do what you guys did, you need to have some level of delusion. Every single snap, every single game, to play this game, you have to be delusional on some level, right? But to say it in the microphone, after these types of losses, after you have missed time, after week, you have a podcast that is great, wonderful, I love the content. But to say the types of things like, we're actually a good team. We're literally, like, your head coach is hanging by a thread, bro. Like, your defense, like, you guys are missing pieces. Deron Bland has been missing all season. DeMarcus Lawrence is gone. Your quarterback, all of this. It just blows my mind. Cut the mic, because everything that's being said right now sounds crazy.
I disagree.
Read the room.
disagree.
Read the room.
Turn on the mic.
Turn it louder.
Increase the gain. I don't want to miss a word. I appreciate Micah Parsons saying this, and it's fine. Like, no one's hurt by this. This is the confidence that I think that you should have. On
Let me ask you a serious question, though.
Sure.
Because so much is made of the sort of, what did you call it, a telenovela that the
Yes.
Cowboys run there, and Jerry Jones likes that and keep us in the conversation even when we're bad. I get all that part of it. But if you're a player on that team, Jeff, I'm looking at you because I sort of know your mentality. And your team is 3-7
lost
and you're
his
getting
mind.
killed. And you have one of your teammates on a podcast. I'm just going to put this out there. We're a damn good football team. And if it wasn't for the 2 touchdowns we allowed at the beginning and then the other one we allowed at the end, we played 2 pretty good quarters on Monday night. Like, how would you feel about that?
Oh, no, we would have a conversation. You've lost your mind.
Conversation.
Yeah, but we can't say that on TV.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, we would.
Let these hands talk.
Yeah, it's a level of crazy, right? And I get it. It's like, to your point, everybody's got to get themselves ready to go play. But to Kmart's point, your coach is going to lose his job. Like, there's going to be massive, people, not just him, but I say this not halfway jokingly, but it's facts. When coaches get fired, players get fired.
Yeah.
A lot of his teammates are going to lose their job.
Right.
And
He's not one of those guys.
Yeah,
Right.
he's not that
Right.
guy. So it's easy to sit in that chair and say those things when you're not worried about what's going on.
Yes.
But everybody else, like the pressure is building for all of them. And these aren't just losses. These are embarrassing losses. And to say that you're a good team after you've been embarrassed the most of any team in NFL, I mean, in Dallas franchise history.
Micah misses the context.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who's.
That is what is most frustrating about listening to him, because he doesn't read the room. He doesn't take in the full context of what is happening before him and after him.
The culture of that team is one that we've been critical of.
Right.
And you need a leader, a veteran guy who is going to call people to the carpet. Like, I've been in that situation. I've been on both sides and the wrong side of it, where after a loss or after I didn't play well enough, I show up on Wednesday with a smile on my face. Somebody is going to say something.
Absolutely.
Someone's going to confront me. And that's the thing that sets the culture. And when you look at that team, like, Dak is hurt and he's not that personality type. Who's the guy on that team that's grabbing people up by their collar and making it real uncomfortable? And like I mentioned, I've been on both sides of that. And that is how you build and sustain a culture, is you hold people accountable. And they don't have that.
The D in Big D stands for disdain.